Why is the United States so keen on Israel to win against Gaza? Now, there are two different theories. One is the traditional mainstream theory, which is since Israel is fighting a war on a terrorist group called Hamas, the United States is keen to support Israel because it's part of America's war on terror. That's BS. The US has proved repeatedly in recent years that they are willing to accommodate, if not even work with terrorist groups. We have seen this in Syria, we have seen it in Yemen, and we are seeing it elsewhere in the Middle East. So what is the other reason? The other reason is more likely, but it's still missing something important. It says that Israel has one major benefactor internationally, and that is Washington. The US has given Israel about $3.8 billion a year and provides Israel with hundreds of millions of dollars of military research, including the money invested in the Iron Dome, in addition to so much money in other types of grants and that are never refunded and loan guarantees and that sort of thing. So the US is just being consistent with what America has always been in its relationship with Israel over the course of many years. But that still kind of does not really answer the question. I mean, the US sent aircraft carriers to Gaza. I mean, do you know how small Gaza is? That's about 181 square miles. It's a very, very tiny little place. And the greatest party fighting power in Gaza is one small group called Hamas. So it really can't be. You don't need this kind of firepower to defeat Hamas. It has to be something else. And here's the answer. US foreign policy in the Middle East is predicated on three components. Number one, Israel's military edge, per the words of Bill Clinton many years ago. That military edge gives Israel so much power, but also gives the United States much clout. And that clout is being used to subdue the Arabs. Component number two, the Arabs themselves, they have to always be beholden to American power, American prestige, which is expressed through the power of Israel. That dominates the region. Number three, the geopolitical situation in the Middle East, which is essentially keep the Russians and the Chinese and others, but mostly Russians and Chinese, out of the Middle East. Now, this part in particular, this last component, Russia and China in the Middle East, it's being challenged quite often in the Middle East lately. One, Russia is the most dominant actor, political actor in Syria, and China is number one trade partner with Iraq. I mean, imagine, they went to war against Iraq to dominate Iraq and the rest of the Middle East, but what they actually did, they destabilized the region to the point that Russia and China became a lot stronger within that region. Gaza alone is able to change all of this because on October 7th and the days after that, they proved that Israel is not that mighty army that everybody thought it was. And number two, the Arabs are not intimidated anymore. This is why Moshe Feiglin, one of top Israeli politicians from the Likud party, put it this way. He said, the Muslims are not scared of us anymore because they know that so much of this is psychological, collective psychology. As long as Israel is powerful, we are scared of Israel. We're going to do everything in our power in order for us to avoid any confrontation with the United States. And number three, the geopolitics. We have witnessed that the Chinese political statements regarding Gaza is pretty strong, and the Russians are clashing openly with Israel at the United Nations. All of this indicates that all of these three components are very well connected, and Gaza, this tiny little place, was enough to be the spark that could bring American dominance in the Middle East to an end. And this is why the United States is the one urging Israel, do not accept permanent ceasefire until you destroy Hamas. Because by destroying Hamas, Washington feels that it still has the opportunity to redraw the map once more and to push the reset button. Will they succeed in doing so? Please do share your opinions and your views with me. Thank you very much. This was Ramzi Baroud with Unscripted.